Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry I am late, but we are here. Views and views are no, I'm sorry. Views for the 22, Monday Blues and past views. Apologize for the presentation here. Hang on, hang on. We gonna make sure we get everything done the right way. Uh there we go. I should be a little better. Had to change the hat. You know, the black hat is a lab hat. That's the way it goes. I am going to share the link on Facebook. Once again, Views from the 22 Facebook group. That's where everything is at. That's where everything belongs. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you join the group. Um, and then we will make it happen. What a week it was in the National Football League. Week 3 was certainly something to behold, man. I mean, you had so many things happen that typically just don't happen. But it's week 3, So if you're in the comment section, just give me some of your thoughts on what you saw in week 3, and then we will get going. Just sharing a couple links here to the groups. Um, like I said, make sure y'all are locked into the Facebook group, Views from the 22. We got the 94 Feet of Life group. We got the scene. We got the dish. We got it all, man. We got some things happening behind the scenes that um, hopefully we can bring to the limelight in the near future, very soon. Very soon, very soon, very soon. I don't know what's going on with Facebook. Facebook be tripping lately. Facebook used to be such a nice little place to share certain things, but it's all discombobulated. Like I said, forgive me for being late. Forgive me for the presentation. The goal this year is to be on time. Shout out to Dr. Lee. You you are, what does he say? You're on time. You're late if you're on time. You're on time if you're early. So we are going to try to abide um, by Dr. Lee's thought process here. We're just gonna. I'm gonna make this real simple because I don't know where the rest of the crew is. I'm gonna make this real simple. So I'm not gonna be here long. I'm not gonna bore y'all with too many details because we have a great game tonight. What I will tell you is tomorrow on the happy hour with Johnny Radio and J Ham, Sports 56.5, Sports 56 98.5 FM. Make sure you download the app, go on the YouTube, whatever. Sports 56 98.5 in FM in Memphis. Tomorrow is views from the 22 day. Wait, what on what, Jorge? What you saying? Wait, what for? What I say? Like I said, I've had a day. Okay, all right. If y'all want me to tell you about my personal weekend, I certainly can. It was a fun weekend. It was a very rewarding weekend, but it was a full weekend that consisted of Saturday me barbecuing for 100 people. So, hey man, trying to make an appearance. 2 Tuesday in the happy hour with Johnny Radio on Sports 56 98.5 FM. Yes, sir. All right, we good. If so, Dr. Lee, drumline. You on time if you're early, you're late if you're on time. So what that means, Jorge, is if the meeting starts at 7 o'clock and you get there at 7, then you are late. If the meeting starts at 7 o'clock, in order for you to be early, you got to get there at 6:55. So that's what that means. Like Ham said, 2 Tuesday, 22 Tuesday, happy hour, Johnny Radio, 98.5 FM. I'm gonna be there at 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern. Jeremy's gonna be there at noon Central, 1 o'clock Eastern, and then Jorge will be there on Wednesday. I kicked him out. I told him, I say, because we're doing a DC after the show, Jorge. More than welcome to be there if you want, of course. But I told him if you want to be on the Zoom, you can be on the Zoom. Just don't come on camera. Anyways, but we here, we live. Let's get cracking. Let's get rolling. Y'all can tell me in the comment section if you want me to tell you about my experience over the weekend. I'll either do it at the end of the show or I'll do it in the Facebook group when I go live in a couple of days. All right, let's go. First game of the docket. You had the Cleveland Browns. Shout out to the Browns, 13-10 over the Packers. The Packers were up by 4, were up by 10 with 4 minutes left to go in this game. Like I said on the radio, I know nobody's going to believe me. I know that, okay? I know, and you have no reason to believe me, all right? But I swear to above that I was this close to picking the Cleveland Browns money line. And no logistical reason, nothing like that. Just I had a hunch that it was the perfect opportunity for a Browns upset versus the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, they played the Lions, whooped them, came back the next week on Thursday Night Football against the Commanders, whooped them. So they haven't played football in 10 days. You play your first 2 games within 3 days, and then you don't play football again for another 10 days, and it's in Cleveland, 0-2, 1 o'clock game. Like no real reason to get up for it, and everybody's sort of overlooking Cleveland. And I think the Packers subconsciously were looking ahead to Dallas and Micah and Jerry World. And like I said, I don't think anybody's really paying attention to just how good this Browns defense actually is. I don't think anybody's paying attention to just how talented this Browns roster actually is. If only you carry Madam Zeroni. If only the Cleveland Browns had a quarterback, had somebody in their building who's a fierce competitor, like let's say Baker Mayfield. Oh, Baker Mayfield was with the Cleveland Browns, Andrew Berry, but yet you decided to give Deshaun Watson half a quarter of $1 billion. Okay, see how that's working out. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done nothing but rule the NFC South since Brady got there, and then Baker took over, and it's been nothing. It's kept it rolling. Yeah, yeah, they fucked up the Browns. They messed up the parlay for sure. They did. Um, but as far as the Packers, I'm not concerned. I'm not budging. It's not a big deal. It's early in September. They'll bounce back. They'll still win 13, 14 games. They'll still win their division. I'm not worried about the Green Bay Packers at all. Um, Seattle over New Orleans, the Seahawks, my God, man, they whooped the Saints. Final score was 44-13. And look, the Saints have been competitive, but we talked about it on Views and Views. They're going to beat two totally different teams away from the Superdome. At home, you should probably take the Saints to cover, depending on what the line is. But on the road, general rule of thumb, moving forward, when the Saints are on the road, take the home team to cover. For example, next week, the which but you could tell the NFL just DGAF about the Arizona Cardinals. You know why? Because they played Seattle, and now next week they got to go all the way to Buffalo. I'll check the mileage. I'll check the logistics. That might be the same amount of traveling distance as what the Steelers have to do this week to get to Ireland to get to Dublin. It's not much of a difference, believe it or not. Like that's Washington is way over there compared to Buffalo. So I'm curious what the logistics of that is. But that's just to show you the NFL don't really care about the Saints because they played at Seattle, a very tough place to play. And now the very next week, you got to go play at Buffalo, another tough place to play. The line opened up at 16 and a half. The Bills are going to cover. The Bills are going to cover that. And by the way, in case y'all forgot, in case y'all are not aware, in case you need a reminder, Sam Darnold is winning games in Seattle. But I'm gonna stay quiet for now. For now, they keep winning games. Y'all ain't gonna shut me up, okay? If Sam Darnold and Carson Wentz get to the playoffs in the same year, y'all will never shut me up. I promise you. I promise you, I will be the most annoying human being on planet Earth if Sam Darnold and Carson Wentz make the playoffs. I will be the single most annoying person on earth, and I will wear that badge with a pride and honor. I promise you. I promise you. You remember how Chris Rock was? I thought I told you that we won't stop in head of state. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna be everywhere. You sit down on the couch to relax with a little tea and crumpets. I'm gonna pop up to remind you that Carson Wentz and Sam Darnold made the playoffs. Just keep that in mind. Next on the docket, San Francisco, they beat the Arizona Cardinals 16 to 15. The 49ers defense, bro, I'm telling y'all right now. Yeah, big shot, it's over. I'm telling you right now, the 49ers are not a team to sleep on. With Mac Jones or with Brock Purdy. Like this defense, now that Robert Sala is back, salam alaikum, my brother. Happy for you that you back somewhere where you appreciate it. Um, halal meat only, no swine team, no swine team. Um, no, in all seriousness though, Robert Sala has his defense playing the way they're supposed to be playing. Fred Warner is one of the best defensive players that I have studied over the last 25 years. And that's counting Troy Polamalu and Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and Von Miller and Luke Kuechly and JJ Watt and Marcel Darius and Aaron Donald. That's counting all those guys. Revis, Charles Woodson. Um, th- Fred Warner is one of the most special players I have ever seen. Now, Nick Bosa is out for the year, and they're certainly going to miss his presence because he is a disruptive human being. But I still think this defense can be good enough. Now, I think the 49ers are sort of a year away from being back in the conversation of the elite in the NFC. But this year is certainly a year that they can continue to build towards that. Um, and I think it's going to be super important to see where the health of Christian McCaffrey and the durability of Christian McCaffrey is heading into the offseason. But just focusing on this season, the 49ers are not a team to sleep on. And I'm going to pull up their schedule here soon. And y'all, they have some opportunities to play spoiler to a lot of teams. Next game, the Bears 31-14 over the Dallas Cowboys. Look, man, I know CD Lamb went out, but the Dallas Cowboys are not CD Lamb or bust. The Dallas Cowboys are Dak Prescott or bust. And even though CD Lamb went out, everybody else was still there. The entire offensive line was still there. You had George Pickens. You had two other weapons as wide receivers. You have your two tight ends. You have a decent running back room. I don't care if it's not Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry and whoever else. I don't care. You have serviceable running backs. You have a decent running back room. I thought it was extremely disappointing that the Dallas Cowboys only put up 14 points. Extremely disappointing. On the flip side, Caleb Williams and the Bears. Look, man, you know how I felt about Week 1. I'm sticking to it. I think it was just sort of a anomaly type situation, but the Bears are worth keeping an eye on if they can keep playing offense this way. Keep it at that. Chargers of the Broncos. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch much of this game. And I didn't keep an eye on this game the way I would have liked to keep an eye on this game. But Bo Nix is not the same player that he was last year. He's still turning the ball over. He was only 14 of 25 yesterday. Nothing impressive. And as for the Chargers, I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to budge from my stance that the Chargers are arguably the best team in football right now. Defensively, they're amazing. Offensively, they're big, they're physical, and they're multiple. I love when you have an offense that can impose their will both through the air and through the run game, and they have that right now. Even with Najee going out, that's very unfortunate. But they still have everything intact. Khalil Mack will be back. Return of the Mac. My big concern for the Chargers, though, is we jokingly say that they have this sort of this cursed thing around them with injuries. And that's the only thing that's going to stop them. If they can stay healthy, if that core, which is like the 85% of their roster, certain players, as long as they're there and they stay healthy, this team is not going to be a team to just look past. This is not the same old Chargers. This ain't your uncle's Chargers that are losing games in the worst ways, that are getting riddled with injuries week after week after week. They got a little bit of a different feel to them, thanks to Jim Harbaugh. And if they can just turn that aura, talk about Madame Zeroni, carry Madame Zeroni up the hill, we'll see. Speaking of another team that we'll see, the Colts over the Titans. Talked about it on the show yesterday. Talked about it on the radio this morning. They have fixed Daniel Jones. It is possible that the adopted son of the Manning family has put it all together. That's very possible. It is very likely what we're looking at. And there are a lot of times with the way he's holding the ball in his chest and his hands and the way he steps up in the pocket and the release, there's a lot of Manning imprint on this kid. You could see it. And so shout out to Shane Steichen, shout out to that entire staff, shout out to whatever Kevin O'Connell did with him in his short stint over there with Minnesota last year. We see the Giants just have no clue how to manage their personnel. We are seeing that in front of our very eyes. They have no clue how to manage personnel. So hey, Daniel Jones is like, this doesn't feel like a fluke with Daniel Jones. It doesn't. And if you take away the fact, like if you just turn on the all 22 and forget that you're watching Daniel Jones, you're gonna be like, oh, this is a good quarterback on a really good football team. And that's what I see. His feet look good, his mechanics look good, everything, his entire body is in sync with each other as the ball is being released. He's reading the field, he's making intermediate throws, he's making tight window throws, he's making deep throws. He's even escaping from the pocket and resetting his feet and getting the ball out there, which a lot of young quarterbacks are do not do that. A lot of young quarterbacks do not understand how important it is to reset your feet once you scramble and you're ready to throw. So shout out to Daniel Jones for keeping the main thing, as Jalen Hurts says. And Jorge, I'm sorry, I know you don't want to hear any of this, but I mean Daniel Jones, my God. And shout out to Jonathan Taylor once again, over 100 yards. Daniel Jones, 72% completions, no interceptions, no fumbles, and they've only punted once. That is ridiculous efficiency. Ridiculous. Excuse me. As far as the Titans, Cam Ward is good. Everything around him is bad. Simple as that. Like I said yesterday, the kid has incredible IQ. He's got elite ball placement. It's a shame, but it's still early in his career. It's still early in his career, and the Titans do have a chance to sort of redeem themselves, and we'll see what they do heading into the off season. But again, we're not for people losing their jobs. We don't truly, we try not to lobby for that. Um, but if there's a bet somewhere, I would probably bet on a new coaching staff for Tennessee next offseason. Minnesota Vikings over the Cincinnati Bengals Storms. If you're still there, I know what everybody said about Jake Browning. I know that, okay? But one thing you got to keep in mind, that was a different football team back then. Another thing to keep in mind is like you can catch NFL defenses off guard, But once we have the film on you, then we find out who you truly are. Again, I'm not throwing away the Bengals season. Whatever happened yesterday was just one loss. At the end of the day, it was just one loss. It only counts as one loss. So you burn the film and you move forward. But you don't really burn the film. This is not a burn the film one. This is one of those ones where you got to learn from your mistakes. Turnovers cannot happen. Pick sixes, fumble sixes, special teams blunders. Like there's a lot of things Cincinnati did wrong yesterday. It wasn't just Jake Browning throwing interceptions and pick sixes and all those things. Um, and as for the Vikings, I wholeheartedly recommend they stick with Carson Wentz moving forward. Wholeheartedly. This offense looks so much better with Carson Wentz. And if he's healthy, he is their best option. And I saw a little bit of the film on him, just a little bit. I didn't like do a deep dive. I only looked at a few things. I looked to see if the throws were accurate. I looked to see if he could have made a better decision, and I looked to see how his pocket movements were. And the thing I was most impressed with was his accuracy and his pocket movements. Like he's sort of one of those guys that still grew up and is influenced by the classic quarterbacks, the Tom Brady's, the Peyton Mannings, the Drew Breeses, the Ben Roethlisbergers. So there's not many guys who move in the pocket the way I saw Carson Wentz move in the pocket yesterday. And I mean that. And I will show that on the film. That's not just because I have this sort of bias towards Carson Wentz. I have this bias towards him because I think he is an incredible talent at the quarterback position. And I think he has a real case of malpractice against a certain team with a certain back injury that he had. But if Carson Wentz is healthy, he is 100% the option moving forward for the Minnesota Vikings because the Vikings have a capable roster of making a deep playoff run. If they didn't have that, then I would say, yeah, go back to the rookie, JJ McCarthy, whenever he's ready to go back. But they have a capable roster. Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, you got Jordan Addison coming back. You got the running back room of Cam Akers and Jordan Mason is solid because Aaron Jones, he's out for I think the year, but like we saw early, he didn't have the same explosiveness, which is no surprise. He's at that age and he's at that mileage that most running backs start to decline. So not all is lost for the Bengals, but they have a very tough stretch of games. And if I'm Cincinnati, I would be very serious about exploring real options like Jameis Winston, like Kirk Cousins. Um, I'm trying to think of who else is out there backup quarterback wise, but those are your two best options that are probably available. I, I would be very serious about getting one of those guys in my building. Steelers versus Patriots. This was one of the most entertaining games I have seen in a while. And it wasn't entertaining because it was pure great football being played. No, it was actually it's probably a game where there's a lot of football follies in it. There was a total, I think, of 7 or 8 fumbles, couple interceptions, a couple nice tackles, couple guys tripping. It was a very entertaining game, to say the least. I think the Steelers did a few things on both sides of the ball to give me optimism that they're going to fix certain things, but they have to be better. Like Pittsburgh has to be better. And they have a very tough challenge with the Minnesota Vikings in Ireland next weekend. That's not an easy game. I'm actually leaning towards the Vikings winning that game because there's still a lot to be desired from the Steelers and things I need to see. The defense was great. The offense was subpar. But at times the offense looked great. And at times you saw things from the defense where it's like, hello, still a little bit leaky, still a little bit leaky. So certainly some things to keep an eye on with the Steelers, but I thought they did some things well yesterday. Tyra Love, thoughts on Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason is a solid running back. I feel like he's more of a gap scheme type running back, but obviously they're running more zone schemes, and he's doing well. He's capable. He is very much capable of being a number one running back on a team that wants to play power football. That is as simple as that. But I'll do a little film study on him and throwing up on IG. And for the Patriots, look, this is a game that you watch the film and you burn it because it was a lot of things that you don't want and you don't expect to happen again. You just don't. And they'll be fine moving forward. They got some things to clean up. And I'm not too worried about the Patriots. I still think they'll be competitive enough to get a wild card berth. But certainly some things they need to clean up. Again, it's September. Philly over Rams. That's a bad beat. Shout out to Philly. Shout out to the defensive line. Shout out to AJ Brown. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. We told y'all, man, Jalen Hurts is very much capable of doing whatever needs to be done to win football games. This narrative that he's some sort of system quarterback or dink and dunker or whatever is all fallacies. He is a fantastic quarterback. Like I told y'all earlier, I don't have a top 10 list this year. I have a top 5, top 6. And after that, it's pick your flavor with these quarterbacks. And all I'm telling you is you got Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and in no order. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Matt Stafford. Those are your 5. Personally, I would put Jaden Daniels at 6. And after that, I'm not going too far before I name Jalen Hurts. I'm just not. So respect him. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's a Super Bowl MVP. Respect that man. For the Rams, very, very disappointed. They should have put that game away in the first half. That game should have been out of reach. Even with the Eagles scoring, but they scored 33 points, technically 27. Even with the 27 points, that game should have been out of reach in the first half. The final score of this game should have been about like 40-27, 41-27. Matt Stafford, I could count about 4 or 5 throws that he missed that could have led to points. Sean McVay, I thought they handled the end of the first half horribly. I thought that was terrible game management, but I'm not worried about it because I know they're going to learn from it. I know they're going to learn from it. So I'm not too worried about that part. Um, Tampa Bay over the Jets. I got to watch that game. That game just kind of was in my background on it. Um, Washington over Vegas. Not much to say there. Washington 140-124. Vegas, they got a ways to go. Carolina beat Atlanta Falcons 30-0. Dog. I mean, horrible. Michael Penix had looked so uncomfortable throwing anything past 10 yards. The offensive line had a hard time with the protection schemes. Receivers were dropping balls. Darnell Mooney was a liability yesterday. Um, Penix's pick six was inexcusable, inexcusable. Even the other interception he threw late in the game, inexcusable. But Darnell Mooney fell on the route. He shouldn't have thrown the ball, but the receiver fell. So just terrible. And the Panthers, look, this is just a reminder. This is the NFL and everybody is a professional football team with professional players. And what I love about week 3, we get this every year in week 3. What I love about week 3 is you had so many matchups where teams that were 2-0 going up against teams that were 0-2. And every single team that was 0-2 this past weekend played with a sense of urgency, played with a sense of desperation, with the exception of the Houston Texans, who lost a game they have no business losing. Again, Trevor Lawrence is trying to give wins away. In a close game in the fourth quarter, you can count on Trevor Lawrence making an inexcusable throw. They had every opportunity to win that game, and they failed. They had no sense of urgency. They didn't play like a team that was on the verge of being 0-3. They didn't play like a team who's just falling behind the division that they should be in total control of. And he's playing behind the worst offensive line in football. So there's a Houston, you have a lot of problems, and they need to be fixed and fixed quickly. Because make no mistake about it, I love DeMeco Ryans, but if they don't make the playoffs this year, I'm not gonna say he's not gonna get fired. And the reason I say that is not because I think he's a bad coach, but perhaps they want to bring in a coaching staff that's a lot more offensive minded, a lot more quarterback centric. So keep that in mind. I think DeMeco Ryans is a phenomenal head coach. I think he's a great leader of men. But when we pull up the tape, there are plenty of times where the Texans were terrible in situational football. And when at the end of the year, if the Texans are not in the playoffs, and I'm the owner, and I'm like, yo, I got this great young quarterback. I have talented pieces. I know I need to fix my offensive line, but in situational football, we're not doing very well, and I'm not seeing development from my quarterback. So it's not impossible or improbable that the Texans go a different direction if for one reason or another they can't turn this thing around. Yeah.
Mo,
Yo.
it's me. True. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Okay. I'm in an undisclosed location at the moment, so I will
I
not be
see
able to
that.
turn
I
anything on.
see that.
So here's the thing. I hear that what you're talking about and what you're saying about the Texans. I think we need to do a little bit of a laugh session on them a little bit this week.
Hmm.
We'll exchange some stamps and stuff like that to show some of the people some of the things that we're talking that you're alluding to. I don't think it's just the offense. I think the defense has to play a little bit better too in some situations as well. Um, I will say 110%. This is the most unexcusable 0-3 that I've ever seen.
Facts. Facts.
Too much talent on this team. The head coach is actually about something. So now it becomes the time of why are we 0-3?
Hmm. Yeah, and
That's
I mean,
that's
look, the defense. Um, I mean, they gave up 14 points to the Rams. They gave up 20 points to the Bucks. They gave up 17 points. So I know people are probably thinking, well, damn, true. What more can they do? Well, they can start coming up with those turnovers. Like they are leaving turnovers on the field. They did it against the Bucks. They did it against the Rams. And there's about 3 or 4 instances yesterday against Trevor Lawrence where they should have capitalized. So it's definitely not all. It's not all on DeMeco. It's not. It's not all on CJ. But nobody is exempt from the problems in Houston right now.
nobody.
Um,
Next game on the docket.
I actually went through all of them.
So let me throw
So
out a couple things. A couple
go
of
right
the
ahead.
true notes from the Monday morning quarterbacking.
Go right ahead, bro.
First of all, I want everybody in the world to apologize to Patrick Mahomes. He made the biggest play yesterday of his season himself off of a throw that did not or he did not make. No,
No,
if that
yeah.
throw behind the line of scrimmage goes in the end zone,
Hmm.
you don't know how that game turns out.
Hmm.
which alludes to the point that I made, you made the last 6 weeks. He is the ultimate winner in this sport.
Yes, he is.
That was a winning football play. Period.
Yes, it was. Yes, sir,
Uh,
indeed.
Giants, you have a bright future. If you figure out your quarterback and you can have a decent offensive line, you got some good pieces. Keep building. Russ is not the answer.
No, he's not.
Next,
No, he is not.
Philadelphia versus the Rams. Let me
Hmm.
just say, Philly showed you his levels to this.
Yep.
Jalen looked like the better quarterback yesterday in the second half.
Actually, I mean, he did, but Stafford really missed some throws yesterday. He did, first half and second half. So I agree. Jalen,
Stafford missed some throws, but those 4 throws that he missed still are not indicative of just how well Jalen played in that second half.
totally agree.
AJ Brown, monster. Please respect
Beast.
him and his name.
Beast.
If he decides he doesn't want to be covered, just throw him the damn ball. It's just that
Hmm.
simple. Lane Johnson is the best right tackle to ever play football, and I don't think there's a question. His impact was felt immediately.
Yes, it was. It certainly was.
But on the other side, Rams, you're better than you're probably one of the 3 best teams in football.
Yeah, they'll be fine.
Stafford, you might be one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football.
Oh, he definitely is. They'll be fine. And one thing that sort of in a way reassured me. He took some big hits yesterday, and he got right up. He got right up. The only thing that bothered him was I think he got like a cleat in the groin area. That would bother any man. So, but other than that, he's God. I'm just praying for good health for Matt Stafford.
And last thing I'm going to say about that is, listen, you watched a heavyweight fight yesterday. NFL schedule makers, we thank you.
Yeah.
Great game, probably the game of the week. Shout out to the Cleveland Browns. That defense is for
I'm tell
real.
you, we keep trying to tell them true. This is
Listen,
not a defense to look past.
do you realize yesterday, all of the rookies that are now starting on their defensive line and their linebacker all got their first sack yesterday?
About the Mason Graham,
Mason Graham,
Malik
Aiden Hutchinson,
Collins,
and Kason Swetchinger got sacks yesterday. Malik
bro.
Collins got 1.5, and Myles Garrett has 4 sacks in 3 games.
Listen, that little linebacker, I'm gonna call him Sunshine because he is nice. He is nice.
He is a tackling machine, and he
Yes,
stays
he
where he's
is.
supposed to be. And
Yeah, he is nice.
you can't teach. That's coach's tape there. You teach
Yes,
kids and linebackers to read, react, finish. He's read, reacting, and finishing. But not only is he doing that, he's completing the objective. He's completing the assignments.
yeah.
And that is the most fulfilling part of what he's doing there.
Hmm.
Joe Flacco, if he is the starting quarterback in the next 2 weeks with this defense playing like this, that is how Stefanski gets fired. Period.
Hey,
Quinshon Judkins. I tried to tell y'all, he is a real deal running back, and he is an AFC North running back. That kid ran under those pads yesterday in a way that only elite runners do. His quick twitch ability, even though he doesn't have great front end speed, you don't need great front end speed when you got good short area quickness. And he
very
beat
true.
that Packer team into submission in a 12-round fight.
Yes,
Good job.
sir. Agree totally.
As far
Agree
as the
totally.
Packers go, I'm not gonna make too much of losing because you
Mm-mm.
got a kick blocked and you lost in a tough situation. That was a tough situation to put your defense in. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, yeah. They'll be
But
fine.
remember this: Now we're starting to see what Jalen Reed really means to that receiving core. No Reed and no Christian Watkins
And no Christian Watson.
it's probably a bad recipe. And the last thing I'm going to say for this week, and I'll save the rest for happy hour for tomorrow, 12 Eastern,
Mm-hmm.
1 to 12 Eastern. Just remember, guys, excuse me, 12 Central, 1 Eastern. Just remember, guys, any given Sunday. That is what the game is about.
Yeah.
Any given Sunday. Do not take a team for granted. Don't think that every win is just supposed to be easy. It's not.
No, it's the NFL. You are going up against grown professionals every single week. Um, and it's why we love it. It's why we love this sport. Tyra Love, who are you asking about the 0-3 players only meeting for the Texans or another team? And yeah, Storms, I'm with you. Like, don't panic. Watch the tape, see what you did, move forward. But the Bengals, I want to keep reminding everybody before we move on to this game tonight. Let me just here is their schedule: the Broncos, the Lions, the Packers, the Steelers are their next four games. That is rough. That's rough. And then you got the Jets and the Bears. Okay, you got a bye week. Cool. You come back. You got the Steelers, the Patriots, the Ravens, the Bills, the Ravens. That's tough. That's super tough. And if Joe Burrow really can come back, it's either going to be for that Bills game or the second Ravens game is the target date. But that's assuming there's no swelling, assuming everything goes well post op, assuming the rehab goes well. So again, I'm not saying to throw away the season, but what I'm saying is they have to really, really, really make an effort to get another quarterback, a veteran quarterback in that building. It has to be done. It should be their number one priority. And I don't blame the Falcons after what they saw yesterday for saying, like, yo, we ain't giving up Kirk Cousins for nothing. So maybe it's Jameis. Maybe it's Russell Wilson. I don't know. But they got to do something. Let's move on to this game real quick, True. Try to get out of here by 8 Central, 8 Eastern. Um, Over under, I actually just lost it. Good Lord have mercy. I'm going to pull it up real quick.
What is it,
Um,
50 and a half or
It
53 and a
might
half?
be 50 and a half, but I think the line has been moving, which I would love to open up to see, but it is at 53 and a half now, 4.5 for the Ravens. The Lions, fun little trivia here. The last time the Detroit Lions beat the Baltimore Ravens was 20 years ago when Joey Harrington was the starting quarterback for the Detroit Lions. Germ, so true. Does that change tonight?
No.
Okay.
They are a little light in the behind, and this time for the Derrick Henry grind.
Yes.
It is time for Derrick Henry to, as they say, I'm busting out. It's time. Sorry, y'all.
Hmm.
These great players get come off of skids and snides like this, and they annihilate people. Give me Derrick Henry for 100 on the ground. Give me 2 touchdowns for Derrick Henry. Give me a old fashioned ass kicking, but I don't think it's gonna be the ass kicking like that we're used to and accustomed to. I just think Baltimore wins comfortably by 7, 8 points, and just keeps them at bay.
I could not agree with you more, Germ. I think this is going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that the Detroit Lions can play well. I really am. I want them to play well. I want them to be competitive. Like I said, I still think they're going to be decent. I just think they're only going to win 10 games. That's really what I think. I think 10 games is the ceiling for this football team. As far as parlays, um, look very simple for me. I would go Lions to cover. I would take the over, and I'll take Derrick Henry for 2+ touchdowns. And I will take Zay Flowers 40+ receiving yards. And I think that's where I would leave it at. The Lions, I am not good at picking Lions players for parlay props. I'm just because it's almost like New England back in the day. Like on any given night, any of them can go off. But right now, I just don't trust this Lions offense to be consistent. So, um, Jeremy, any closing thoughts before we go?
Enjoy the game. Great week. Happy hour tomorrow. Happy hour Friday. Make sure you guys tune in.
Yup.
And please, 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 just remember, we always one view away.
Amen to that, baby. Tomorrow is 22 Tuesday. Shout out to J Ham. Shout out to that Johnny Radio and the Happy Hour. We are very grateful for that platform. We love talking ball on there. So tomorrow is 22 Tuesday with me and then Germ. Wednesday is Jorge, and then Friday I'll be on there as well. Make sure you download the app. 94 Feet of Life. It will be back very, very soon. Stay tuned. Matter of fact, while I'm here, let me see if I can look it up real quick. Big Shot, if you're still on, I know y'all
I
are
think it's
going live
October
soon.
1st.
What is it?
I think it's October 1st.
I do think so as well. I just wanted to confirm that because my head is literally spinning with a whole bunch of dates in my head right now. I got to get back to my calendar. Yes, I do use my calendar app, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I have to. Um, But yeah, 94 Feet of Life will be back soon. And the one thing that's beautiful is we are going to be coming up with a promo for all our shows, all our channels, all our groups. Each division is going to have their own day, their own time that we're all going to try to stick to. We appreciate all the support, all the love, the scene, 94 Feet of Life, the dish, views from the 22. Just a message to anybody listening. We are a community of a brotherhood, and we believe in that no matter what. Take us home, True, from your undisclosed location.
22. See y'all next week. Happy hour tomorrow, Friday, and throughout the week. Let's do it.